Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Joining me from always for our weekly banter is Justin Hall, Supplement Snoop. How are
Yes,
you, my
sir.
friend? Another week and
No,
another show.
I'm telling you, man, and that's like, is it Thursday? I don't know. I'm just this sucks. This whole thing, this whole thing is just I don't know what day it is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything. It's like, oh my gosh, man. So at least I know when I'm gonna connect with you, it sort of gets me back in balance of the week. It's like, okay, it's freaking Thursday. Let's rock. So I need this. I need this anchor in my life, man.
I'm happy to weigh you down, man. I'm happy to be that immovable object that just weighs you down into the abyss that is the supplement industry. Yeah, my week is the weekends feel longer because everything that we would usually do on the weekends is closed. But I put together a lovely set of Adirondack chairs this weekend, and my 2.5-year-old was nice enough to help me. So I would say, hand me the washer. She knows what nuts, washers, and bolts are for everything. So with that, we're going to put together
Nice.
some bookcases for our front room that we're going to convert into a library because the previous owners used that as a formal dining room, sitting room thing. But we're going to turn it into like a dry bar slash library area.
Dang. Okay.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be we're gonna be constructive on our weekend. So we're gonna do some outdoor workouts. I got a new suspension trainer in that's in, and I just put through the paces about an hour ago. So yeah, it's all good stuff. It's different change of pace, but outside of my bourbon haze and work days, then I got you, and that's all I need.
Well, there you go, man. I know it was like something Brady, what we've been doing earlier today. I was just telling you, Brady and I have been putting this off for a long time. You know, we do the consulting program, and what we wanted to do is create um, basically just some podcasts worth what information we generally talk about on this stuff, and just get that down for people so that they can listen to get the gist of the consulting program, get the
Yeah.
basics. If you can't, you don't want to commit to doing the long term thing. Anyway, so it's something we've been putting off because it take a lot of time, and
Yeah.
but we're like, okay, we have no excuse. Like, let's get this shit done. So I took 2 total focus at like 1 o'clock. So who knows?
You're cruising.
Who knows what's going to happen on this hour-long podcast? I don't know, man. It's just been such a while. And speaking of bourbon, so what I did finally last night, we'll get this conversation going in a good way.
Yeah.
I took some bourbon. The picture I showed you, I think last week, the Michter's, I think it was, and I mixed it with the Axe and Sledge EAAs.
Ooh, the whiskey cola.
I finally did it because I was like, I'm gonna do it. I kept putting it off.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude.
Yep. Now it was kind of funny because also, like, on another side note, it was probably the worst time. We've been testing out this Alphaline GDA product that they're working on, and there's that Glaxon one. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take my blood glucose this morning, and I don't think like drinking a shit ton of bourbon and stuff like that until like 1 in the morning was probably the best idea if I wanted. So I basically woke up with diabetes, but it was really good.
How high was your blood sugar levels?
It wasn't that bad. It was like 107, I think.
Oh, okay. I mean that's pre-diabetic, but
that's fine. That's
fine.
No big deal.
What I'm learning is because my father is a type 2 diabetic, and my uncle on my mom's side, he was not blood related, but it was the one that my mom's sister married. He was also type 2 diabetic, and just from my dad's had it for, I want to say, going on 30 years now. No, maybe not that long. 20 plus years now. 25 years. They have this thing called the dawn effect, where sometimes it's your liver will just kick out a bunch of it'll break down a bunch of glycogen, kick a bunch of glucose into the bloodstream, to where it gives you that initial burst of energy, since you got cortisol going and all this other stuff to give you the energy to get moving in the morning. So I about a year and a half ago, I just started kind of just being curious and tracking my blood glucose levels, and I was waking up in the morning, it was like 99, 110, 107, and I thought, what the fuck's going on? So I started doing a little bit more research and said, to maybe get a more accurate reading, try and do it 2 hours after you wake up. And then so I started doing that, and then I was back in like the 80s you
Yep.
know, upper 70s
Yeah.
to mid to low 80s, and I thought, okay, I'm not pre-diabetic because, you know, I exercise regularly, I eat well, I'm not overweight or anything like that. And I thought, what the fuck's going on? And I don't eat a bunch of sugary stuff anyway. I thought, what the
Yep.
fuck's going on? And then I realized, oh, okay, all right, let's check this dawn effect thing and see what's going on with it. So
Yeah, it's
something to
pretty
consider.
fascinating stuff, man. Because it's kind of also, I think, you know, when you're not, if you're not used to eating certain things, like if you have a relatively straightforward, it's like anytime you sort of throw a wrench into those plans, you're going to have some sort of like fallout. That's just what it seems to me. Because I checked it again, it was like an hour, and actually I ate, and then I checked it again, and it was actually like way lower than it was first thing in the morning. So I was like, okay, it's fine. Like,
Yeah, I guess I'm not dying. And I always, so, you know, we get a bunch of different GDAs, and obviously my dad's on insulin, and, you know, he's got a short-acting one and a long-acting one, or, you know, an immediate-acting one and a sustained-release one. And my mom's a cardiac rehab nurse, my sister is a pharmacist, so I basically have the entire family kind of against the supplement industry, because they're, you know, they got, you know, actual prescription drugs, and, you know, supplements are dangerous and unregulated and all of that stuff. So, but I keep wanting to slip my dad some berberine just to, you know, don't take your insulin for a little while, Dad. Let's see how the berberine acts for you or something. Or, you know, I think my mom's on blood pressure meds. Let's say, hey, Mom, here's some potassium nitrate caps. Let's just see how these go and things like that. But I don't have any takers yet. So
no takers. Yeah, you're gonna have to start an experiment that they don't know about. Start replacing tablets and just
lace their coffee with stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how you find out, right? Like, you just, you know, that would be the best double-blind study you could ever come up with. I had no idea you were testing them in the first place.
Nope, that's basically what Sandy is. They just say, here, take these caps, and she says, okay, and bonk. So it's just, it's all good things.
Yeah, so AlphaLine's got a GDA they're working on, and actually they're doing something really cool. I don't think they'll care if I share it at this point, but so they sent me a few different products. One is a full GDA.
Okay.
And then they sent me 2 standalone ingredients that are in the GDA.
Cool.
And then they sent me the GDA. So they sent me 4 tubs. One full formula, one ingredient, one another ingredient, and then the formula without those 2 ingredients. And so what they're trying to do is, and I know I think they sent it to Gerhard over at Fitness Informer too. They want to see if there's a big difference between using each individual ingredient versus another one, and they want to get the whole formula down. I was like, well, I would be happy to help. That's pretty fucking cool that you guys are testing that much, and I think that's one thing about Alpha Line that I've always liked. They go do a lot of testing, so it's cool because he was like, hey man, if you can help us out, he's like, I'll send you a glucose meter. And I was like, okay.
Sweet. Yeah, man. It's, The more companies that want to do that and get actual hard data on it, especially for people that are rigorous and diligent about, you know, their training, their diet, and they, you know, their supplementation stuff. They're not just throwing a bunch of stuff willy-nilly in there. Guys like you, me, you know, I'm sure Gerhard is the same way, Ryan too. You have a set routine, and you know when you add something to it or subtract something, you can perceive those differences, you know, whether they be good or bad, what happens from the addition of a supplement, the removal of something, or a tweak in your diet, tweak in your training, or something like that.
Well, you know, it's good for me too, because what I noticed over like the last few days, like this whole, I'm like, man, I'm just in the house just way too much. And so what do? I'm like, a lot of people are going, oh, let's do, you know, you take a stim break, you know, now sort of wash out. I'm like the opposite. I'm like sitting here and I'm going, well, let's try this. And I'm like, well, let's try this. And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, okay,
got nothing else to do.
Right, and like you and I said, sometimes you can take a lot of supplements and pre-workouts and stuff, but unless you sort of kickstart yourself, you might not like really notice it.
Right.
So I'm just whatever, and I'm like, man, you gotta fucking stop doing this. Like, this is stupid. So it's been,
I'm noticing
between the cortisol and the bourbon and all that stuff, probably wasn't a great idea to measure my blood sugar this morning, but we're good to go now. We're feeling healthy now. So.
Yeah, I would say I'm still trying to keep pretty not weary, just, you know, on top of my stimulant usage. I've never really closely monitored it, but I mean, I would maybe have 1 cup of coffee a day and then a pre-workout, or just no cup of coffee and then just a nootropic if it was a rest day or something like that. Um, and then lately, it's backing up the point you just said. If unless you get yourself in that work zone, there have been times over the past couple of weeks, and this has happened to me before, but I'm noticing it more so now, that I'll take something and and I don't know if it's because there's too much theanine in it or what, but I'll just take something and I'm just like,
fucking theanine.
just, all right, well, that was nice. All right,
Yeah.
I guess, or did I take a pre-workout? What did I do? And
yeah,
it's, I want to blame it on the theanine and not just the fact that I was sitting around and hoping the pre-workout would give me the kick in the pants to do something.
My dog needs some theanine.
That and some cordyceps and KSM and every CBD. Give him some CBD too.
Right. But no, you're 100% right. Like, I took a few things the other morning. I could have gone back to bed, and when I really thought about it, I was like, dude, let's maybe rethink what we're doing here a little bit.
Yep.
Take your own advice every now and then. But then, like, this morning, I got a workout in. I took, that's one nice thing about having that, like, Pump and Focus. Told you Jeff Long, his product.
Yeah.
I took that today, man, and had a killer workout. It's 125 caffeine, so that'll help. But then this afternoon I took 2 Total Focus.
That's only another 100 caffeine. That's really not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. So now the question is, can I keep going? We have a few more things to do, but then, like, you get into, like, what I was saying. Brady and I were just doing doing some recordings, and it's like, the nootropic itself isn't necessarily doing anything, but once you start going, you're like, you're like, dude, trying to stop yourself from going. Like, slow down.
Yeah.
Speaking of nootropics,
Uh-huh.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, speaking of nootropics, I also got Nootropimax. Dave, he listens to us every single week, and he heard us talking about it, and he sent me some
Sweet.
this week. So, not to cut you off there.
Oh no, that was fine. I was going to say, have you ever taken a pre-workout and actually just fallen asleep afterwards? Because Sandy did that. I don't want to out the company's pre-workout that she was taking, but I mean, this has been on more than one occasion now. I've given her a full serving of it that supposedly contains 300 milligrams of caffeine per scoop. She takes it, and we will be doing the warm-up and getting ready to start the set, and she just says, I'm tired, and she goes and falls asleep. And
that's not good.
And so I don't know if there's not actually caffeine in the product, because she doesn't take a lot of caffeine in. I mean, she might have 1 cup of coffee a day, if that. Sometimes, I mean, now she's taking stuff a little bit more because she's teaching from home, obviously. So her morning ritual is, I'll go drop the toddler off at daycare, come back, I'll make a cup of coffee for him, put in a scoop of the caramel toffee macchiato of 1UP stuff, and so you make like a protein mochaccino fancy gourmet coffee thing, and she's off to the races and good for that. But she will try another pre-workout, and then she'll be tired, and she'll say, I'm going to sleep. How do you fucking do that? So I'm curious to see if that product actually contains any caffeine or not.
When this is actually how I learned about the U-shaped curve of stimulants, and actually, so it was DMAA version of Mesomorph.
I still have a little bit of that left.
I remember I took a full scoop of it the one time, and I went to the gym, and I started dozing off when I was on the. I was doing that thing. I can't remember what I was doing. I was on a machine or something like that. Next thing you know, I was like nodding off. I'm like, I'm supposed to be freaking out.
Yeah.
Right. But then, so this is when I started getting this conversation. Someone's like, well, you took too much. Like, there's like that Goldilocks sort of thing that goes on there, where it's like too much stims is not too little, what's just right. And then I remember starting to use, it's the only time, probably the only product that I ever enjoyed less than a full scoop, more than a full scoop. So it is possible to overdo stimulants. Now, granted, I've only done it like once, and it was like one product. But,
you learned your lesson one time, and that was all you needed.
Which I didn't really like that product anyway, to be honest with you. I didn't really. DMAA was always more, I don't know, like of a
bark than bite.
People get excited about talking about it, but I never really cared for it that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I was talking, since you brought up, on the topic of stimulants, and you brought up Gerhard earlier, him and I were texting, it must have been 2 weeks ago now. He said, "Hey, what do you know about this thing called AmpiBerry?" And I'm like, "It's fucking
Nobody knows anything.
Juniper extract. There's no, go look at the mechanisms from it. There are no stimulative properties to it whatsoever." He said, "Yeah, I've talked to a few other people and they don't know anything." I said, "Exactly, because it's just marketing bullshit." And I just did a quick Google search just to make sure I wasn't talking out of my ass and, make sure I knew what I was talking about. And some fuckwad puts up an article that says, "Is AmpiBerry the next DMHA replacement?" And I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me?
I remember seeing that article.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the company that came out with it. Mm-hmm. They were the first ones to come out with it. They always have some really interesting marketing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because I've had a lot of people ask me about it. They're like, well, what about Juniper? And I was like, I'm not saying that it doesn't do anything or is not effective. I just have no fucking idea what it does. Because, like, nobody does.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, I don't know. But there is a lot of, like, supplements that we do find out work. Like, we were talking about, especially with, like, Nupep and some of these other race stands. Like, they're like, well, we just know it works.
Yeah.
Or like GBB is another one where I think people are not necessarily 100% sure.
Yeah.
You just know you sweat your ass off. You're just not exactly sure why. So
yeah, I was gonna say we're about to bring up. Where the hell does the thermic effect come from that thing? But nobody knows. Research hasn't identified it yet. I'm still not sold on AmpiBerry or anything until I see something. I'm just gonna keep saying it's garbage.
I would also, in all honesty, it's like I just haven't seen. Although Alpha Line, I think, uses Juniper in their new Superhuman.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the companies I saw, especially when you start talking about like a trademark form and stuff like that, it's like, well,
yeah,
I'm never going to get any information about that. So it's just
right.
Actually, I also was talking to someone. Someone asked me a question about this the other day about stacking certain products, and I know that this sort of sounds like blasphemy, but at some point with a pre-workout, there's just only so many things you can do to your fucking head and body like at one time. So
right.
Where it just starts to get, I don't want to say like overkill, but it's like, well, are you even able to tell like in your brain that all these different things are sort of happening? So it's kind of like, it doesn't seem to me like it does anything that we can't get somewhere else.
Correct.
I guess is the point. Some people ask me about ingredients or like the CBD thing. You and I have talked a lot about CBD, and people are like, well, it calms you down. I'm like, okay, well, cool. It's really expensive. I was like, so does theanine. I was like, so does, ashwagandha or whatever. I was like, so is it so much different than those that it's worth, looking into, or the price tag or potential negative side effects? So it's like, there's only so many like sensations the human body's going to go through, and we're not touching on very many new things.
No, and I think at a certain point, your body is going to enact various feedback mechanisms, whether it's negative feedback, positive feedback mechanisms, to where if one aspect of your physiology gets tweaked a little bit too much, it's going to start boosting up other things or down-regulating other things to keep you from, going off kilter one way or the other.
Yeah, like we're talking about cortisol. So that's like, okay, we're going to try and save your life here, but it comes with a price. You know what I mean? There's going to be other things that sort of go along with it. It's like, so what balancing act do you want to do with your body? I think is the end goal.
Yeah. Have you been graced with any other goodies this week aside from the Alpha Lion preview supplements?
This week was pretty slow. When I think about it, I don't know. Did anything happen this week? I can't remember. I don't think that I got anything. I didn't buy anything. So no, I think it was pretty slow. I think the Alpha Line stuff. And I'm supposed to get the new Jeff Long Peak and Power.
Okay.
But I haven't got it yet.
Gotcha.
It's the creatine based product that he came out with, the elevATP and stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Would you have a preference between PeakATP and elevATP? I know they work via different mechanisms. Would you have a preference that you would like to see in a formula one over the other?
It's cool because PeakATP is like, okay, we're going to take the thing and we're going to give it to you, right? And where elevATP, if I remember correctly, we're going to give you these natural ingredients that give you the thing, right?
Yeah.
But I know like PeakATP is super expensive.
Right.
which is why I don't think you see very many people use it. So
Yeah.
I've never used like one versus the other in any way that I could be like, okay, yes. But it
Yeah.
does seem to make sense. It's like, well, okay, but then again, the body, you know, is a weird. It works in weird ways. Sometimes supplementing with the thing doesn't work, and
Yeah.
it's like sometimes. But they both seem. It would be cool to do because anytime you can increase ATP, I'm all for it. But
Yeah.
I just don't have enough experience with elevATP. I like it
Hmm.
versus PeakATP because you just don't see PeakATP that much.
No, I mean it's in. I know it's in Steel Pump by Steel for it. It's also in one of the capsule-based supplements that Advanced Molecular Labs (AML) had out. It was a capsule thing that had, I think, synephrine in it, PeakATP, and one other ingredient, but it's escaping me at the moment.
Yeah, I did get one from that ATP Labs that sent me
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So they, it's called MyoPrime.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool little formula. It's like a creatine, HMB, PeakATP formula. I'll bring it up here. Um, yeah, creatine monohydrate 3 grams, creatine magnum power 2 grams, which is cool. I like creatine magnum power. It looks like it's PeakATP, vitamin D, and HMB. Um, and yeah, I used it the other day. Oh, the flavor is so bad.
Oh, oh, that's not
I was
good.
shocked. I was like, damn, because it's cool. It's a really cool product. So I'm gonna figure out a different way to use it.
Yeah,
It
it is
was
weird.
not good,
Huh.
but I like
Interesting.
the ingredients. I like the ingredients.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I like everything. Let's say maybe with the exception of, I mean, of the HMB forms, the calcium form,
Yeah,
which is the one they're using here, is the one that has some data behind it backing its, warranting its inclusion. I'm still not a
yeah,
huge overall believer in it, but I mean, the rest of the stuff in
yeah.
here, I'm more in favor of.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in HMB really either. But if you are, like you said, if you're going to use it, plus it's 1.5 grams. It's like
Yeah,
it's a good dose. It's the trademark form that hopefully there's something there.
yeah,
At least you're getting the peak ATP. You're getting two good creatine sources, getting some vitamin D. So
right.
not a bad little product. But yeah, I was like, damn, flavor was.
Yeah, it's about peak ATP. I still find it funny that that's another one of those ingredients. Researchers, in theory, it's supposed to be an exogenous form of ATP, but in the studies, every study they've ever done on some kind of exogenous ATP supplement, it doesn't lead to enhanced blood levels
Right,
of ATP. So
right.
they're thinking what this ingredient is doing is that it's actually increasing blood flow because they've noted increased nitric oxide levels, increased blood flow, reductions in blood pressure. I think in overweight women was the study, and they improved their cardiorespiratory fitness markers and all of that too. So I think it's got something to do with blood flow. I think it's like an under the radar pump agent more than actual maybe an ATP elevator.
Interesting. So like it's getting used up really quickly
Yeah, it gets
in that
metabolized
sense.
so quickly in the body that
Interesting.
it never and they've done I'm going to say up to 5 or 10 grams of other kind of ATP salts and nothing. I mean, there's no
Hmm.
increase in serum ATP levels whatsoever that are noticeable just because it gets broken down so rapidly in the digestive tract. So it's working via some other mechanism, and what they're thinking of right now. I've got a full article on the site on the Supplement Engineer site for anybody who wants to go and read it. Um,
Oh,
it's more
you're
about
good.
blood flow. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Right, and then you have so PKTP is from what is it like Apple?
ancient peat and
Apple,
apple extract. So yeah, it's moss and apple extracts.
and that actually right is supposed to
Yeah, enhance the
elevate
cellular
ATP levels.
production of ATP.
Yeah, cool stuff. I like them. I mean, anytime, like I said, I'm all about it. All
Mm-hmm.
about some ATP.
Yeah, buddy. So, how have your home workouts been since you've been transitioning to that? Did you go and buy a bunch of gym equipment? Are you doing mostly body weight stuff, or how's that working?
We got some a couple weeks ago. We went to the gym and got some barbells and weights and stuff like that. Not a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it, but I've been doing more compound movements, CrossFit style, conditioning. Doing a lot of that full body sort of workout things. And what I was trying to do also was sort of do like a full body weight training, pretty intense workout, and then the next day do sort of like a stretching, maybe some yoga, some things like that. Some things that I sort of had put off as I got into like the really consistent push pull legs kind of thing. And
Yeah.
you know, I think conditioning is something that really goes away quickly, but can come back pretty quickly too. So I'm like, man, because if I don't do it now, I won't do it when.
Right. Gym's back in session.
I definitely miss doing like stairs at the gym. I never thought I would say this in my life, but man, that thing just kicks my ass, and it's hard to it's hard to replicate that, you know, around here. So it's been. I know that it's not as bad as I'm making it in my head. You know, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating, I think, more mentally to not. I really, especially working from home, we talked about this a lot. Not stopping what I'm doing, getting everything together, going to the gym, doing my thing there, leaving my phone in the car, and then coming back and doing the post-workout routine. I'm missing that. Yeah. That little window that sort of would allow me. It took me a long time to really come up with like a really good routine and a really good recovery routine, and then it's like, you know, now I'm missing that. So it's been, you know, it's not a massive, you know, struggle. Obviously, a lot of people are going through a lot worse, but it sucks, man. It sucks. I'm gonna go fucking completely nuts.
You say you went to the gym and got some barbells. So the gym that you normally go to, did you just buy some barbells from them, or is it like did you rent them from them, or they just you gave them like a card and said, "Hey, I'm good for it. I'll be back in a month and a half when y'all reopen, and I'll give it back your equipment."
Yeah. They were basically like they put on Facebook the one day. They were like, "Hey, if anybody wants," they do like classes and stuff like that, and they have a lot of barbells set up, and they're like, "If anybody wants some to use, just come pick it up." You know, and we're like, "Okay."
That's sweet, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it worked out good. I would have bought something. But I don't need much, you know, it's kind of, it's been sort of a welcome change in one way, but it's still a tough adjustment, you know, one way or another. I really would like to use some of the equipment at the gym, not gonna lie. So, but you know, we're making the best of it. It's not so bad. She's doing it. She's doing a lot of workouts, so.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've noticed it's a little harder for me to get started in the morning, just work-wise, because usually after I would drop Sandy off at school and I'd drop the toddler off at daycare, I would go either sit at a coffee shop or sit like outside of the park after I had a coffee, sit there, or at like a local diner or something and sit down and work while I'm eating and doing all this or whatnot. And since I don't have that anymore, I come back, I'll go to the grocery store nice and early because they either don't have what I'm looking for or the lines are so long by the middle of the day that it's kind of like a daily thing. That's my daily item now is drop the toddler off at daycare, go run to the grocery store for like 3 or 4 things, come back home, and then I'll sit and I'm thinking, okay, do I want to work right now? Is my brain in the mood? And then sometimes I'll either take coffee or I might try to use a nootropic to get me more in the gear to write. And it's just early mornings are not what it used to be like my wheelhouse for writing. It's not anymore, to where it's like middle of the day now, or at like 4 or 5 o'clock, I get this burst of, I know what I'm ready to do now. I got the idea. My brain's finally clear, because the couple of days this week I've taken a nootropic and it's been too intense for me. And I usually don't have that sensation with the nootropics, to where I don't pound them all at once, or if I'm taking, you know, I'm using powder-based ones right now, a couple of them that I'm rotating through. And usually I just sip on it, and once I start to feel it kind of kick in, I'll just stop sipping it for a while until maybe I need another bump or something like that. But man, even bump. Yeah, I know. I sound like a meth addict. I just need just a little bump. But lately, man, I guess I'm just not in the right mindset, and I'm trying to force it with nootropics or stimulants. It's just sending me into this kind of like hyper alert phase, but where I can't actually think clearly.
That's exactly how I've been for like 3 days.
Yeah. And so I just said, you know, fuck it. And so then I'll work out, you know, around the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock time, whenever Sandy's finished her online classes. Then go, you know, eat lunch, relax with her for a bit, and then I'll sit down in the afternoon and start writing. And it finally opens up, and then Old Faithful comes around, and I've got my old fashioned, and you know, the floodgates open, and it's magic. And then for like the next 2 hours, I'm in this zone where I can write and clearly think. So
nice. Maybe there you go. At least you're trying. I'm struggling. I'm still trying to find the right routine. Yeah. And it's actually, I'm making it way worse than it is, because and that's kind of the tough part about what's going on now is like, if you go to the gym and fitness is a big part of your life, and meal prepping and eating well and cooking at home, you don't have time for anything else.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so when that is taken away from you, you're kind of like, what sucks about the whole thing and sort of goes like into the philosophy of the whole thing is like, I'm going, okay, it's like when a lot of people are freaking out because they're used to going to work every day.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that they can control. And it's like, so basically in this country, if you are willing to go to work every day, then okay, you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then, 99% of the people out there don't go to the gym. They don't care about their health.
Yep.
We willingly go every day, and now you're being told that you're not allowed to do that. And it's like, wait, go fuck yourself. That is not part of the deal.
Right. The
deal was I put in the work and you just let it happen. And it's like, now you're telling me you can't do it?
Right.
And then, I'm an only child. I'm stubborn as hell. If you tell me I can't do something, I just start to get really, really pissed.
Yeah, and it's weird because working out is one of the healthiest things you can do, and it also improves immune system health, and the fact that, we don't need to get into more of the negatives of all of this nonsense, and get into all the statistics, because I would probably upset a great many people if I said what I would say, but,
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's tough, you know, but anyway, so I'm still struggling a little bit to find the right routine. Everything is too sporadic for me right now, where just like what you were saying, next thing you know, you're like, oh, now I can do some stuff. And it's like, well, and I'm like, oh, man, I had such a great routine before. So it is what it is.
Yep.
Well, and by the time you figure it out, we'll be hopefully back to normal.
Have you and the missus discovered any new shows on Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything like that you've, with some of the extra free time you've had these days? Have you discovered any new shows that you're enjoying?
Well, we watched the finale of The Magicians last night. That was good. That show is so messed up and so crazy and weird, but I absolutely freaking love it. So it was the final episode ever was last night. That's why I was drinking bourbon.
So it was the series finale, not just a season finale.
Yeah, it's all done. Okay. So we haven't been watching. Actually, I've been playing a lot of video games.
Nice. Does she get in on it with you too?
She doesn't play. She just likes to watch.
That's awesome.
We've been playing the Uncharted series.
Yeah.
And she loves it. She likes to watch me play video games. And I was like, well, this works out great.
Don't have to take turns, share the remote control or anything like that.
She likes to cook. I like to eat. She likes to watch me play video games. I like to play video games. I was like, man, we are perfect for each other.
Sweet. I don't think I've ever asked you this. So what does she like to cook, and what's some of her specialties?
She's actually like, she doesn't like to make the same things like over and over again.
Yep.
Which me, I'm like, I like the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to get too crazy with it, but she prefers to. But we do a lot of. She loves bison, like a lot of bison. It's always chicken. She's a big steak and meat eater. She's a big carnivore, so that works out great too.
That is awesome.
But she does all kinds of crazy stuff because she's Mexican. She has that. They grew up in Arizona and stuff, and so she likes spicy stuff.
Excellent.
She likes a lot of spicy stuff, so there's never a lack of flavor in no matter what we eat. It's always
fantastic.
And she just eyeballs it. She just like throws stuff in there.
Yeah.
So, but she cooks really well. We always eat at home. Like I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, man, I can't even name 5 times we've eaten out in the last 2 years probably since we've been here. Wow. And she loves to cook and cooks pretty healthy, so it helps me out a lot.
That's a good thing. That's a damn good thing. Yeah, I would say Sandy and I don't have many vices. I would say the one that we probably had was going out to eat on the weekends. During the week, we would stay home and eat all of our meals. I mean, I do a bunch of meal prep for her during the week because I like to cook. I mean, she can cook, but I really like to do it. So I'll usually take care of, making the toddler's snacks and foods that she takes to daycare, and Sandy's lunches for the week. I'll either make enchiladas or some kind of like eggplant curry thing or something else. You know, Sandy can eat the same thing. If I make a big batch of something, she can eat the same thing day after day. I need to make my food fresh just almost every day. Even if I eat the same thing, like my usual lunch is like a chicken sandwich with cheddar cheese, and then I'll have a big plate of steamed vegetables on the side. But I will make that fresh every day, or I'll have a big giant ass salad for dinner at night, or scrambled egg tacos or something. I need to make that every day. I can't really do the lasagna, make a big tray of lasagna and eat that day after day.
She's the same way. That's exactly how she is. She wants to cook something fresh.
Yeah, and I think, but there's also Sandy. I think put the nail on the head. She said that's your way of kind of controlling things and just having a structure and a routine, and just kind of doing that process every day. Kind of centers you and just keeps you calm, cool, and collected with everything. So,
cooking is very therapeutic, I would guess.
Yeah. Plus, it is slicing all the vegetables, making everything nice and neat, and all that. It's just, I've always enjoyed that process of doing it. So,
I wish I had the patience. I would love to be able to cook well, and I just don't have the patience. I'm just like, oh, I just want to eat it and then move on. So that's what I do. Whenever she goes out of town or something like that, all I eat is like scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Just get scrambled eggs for every meal. I don't care.
So that has mostly cured our going out to eat on the weekends now, since all the restaurants are closed. But we'll still order, or Sandy will order. I don't think I've gotten anything to go yet, but there's a couple local places that obviously they're going through a hard time, so we try to order one meal from them on a Saturday or Sunday just to do our little part to help them kind of keep some kind of cash flow going through there. So there's a really good little Mediterranean joint right across the daycare. There's a local pizza place, and we'll pick a different one every weekend or something like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see once all of this ends, if what our new routine becomes. If we go back to eating out, a couple of times a weekend, or is it even more cut off from it?
Well, where I grew up at, where we moved away from, man, there were so many killer places to eat.
Yeah.
Like a lot of gourmet. The one thing I really miss about where I grew up is the gourmet hot dog place. We would go there on Friday nights, have some craft beers, and the hot dogs they would make there were mind blowing. They were like Smith's hot dogs, and there just really isn't anything like that around where we are now. It's so we're like, okay, we're gonna go out and spend 10 times as much money for food that sucks, and it's like, there's just not a whole lot around here as far as food and beverages go. Where we came from, where we just moved from, it was like Mecca. Although it was always snowing, so you had to have somewhere to drink and eat food or go nuts.
Gotcha. Do y'all think? And I don't know if this is I don't know how long y'all have planned. I know your wife has a very good job where y'all are currently living now. Is that something y'all foresee staying there for a while, or are y'all considering possibly one day relocating somewhere else?
Well, the whole idea was us to go to Arizona, back to near where she grew up. And because the first time I went there, it was Christmas Day, and we were swimming, and I said, this is what I want forever. I want sunshine, and I want everybody that lived around there was 110 years old, and they looked like they were 60.
Wow.
And I said, this is where I want to go. When I get older, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of, we talk about this all the time, because being here is awesome. There's a lot right around us, so as much as I still want to go out there, I think we're going to be here for a while. So we're just going to have to find. I don't necessarily think we're going to live right where we're at now. We're going to move. Yeah. I'm a little hesitant to put down roots just because I still want to go west at some point. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Excellent. All right, my man. Well, let's dive into some supplements. Let's scroll through Stack 3D and see if we can actually find something cheery to discuss, if there's any new flavors, formulas, something that tantalizes our senses.
All right. Let's see. I think I was looking a little bit earlier.
Gaspari is releasing a greens and reds formula. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of companies releasing greens and reds and immune supplements in the coming months.
Is what it is.
Okay, let me get your. Oh, never mind. It was an April Fool's Day joke. I was gonna say the Quest thing, but no. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I would actually drink that.
Yeah, I was gonna say what's the market for a protein beverage, but I feel like Sandy and I have already kind of like spoiled that by saying mix some of the Recover EAAs with bourbon or sweet tea vodka or something when we
right,
did
exactly.
that
That's
review
what
a
I did
while
once.
back.
This uh, I'm reading this message because this Naughty Boy company, this UK brand, sent me a message a little bit ago because I was talking about their product today. I don't know what their this. I'll have to reread this message. It sounds kind of weak if you ask me, but I'll have to. Yeah, I talked about their formula today, and I was like, I said it looked pretty good. It was
The drip.
of GPC, tyrosine, candies, all good ingredients.
Yeah, I mean for this to be this is supposed to be a fat burner. It says increase energy, enhance focus, and support weight loss. So we've got 300 caffeine, 100 milligrams of Infinergy dicaffeine malate, so a total of 373, 375. It says, and 300 milligrams of the increasingly popular stimulant Inextra, which is, we discussed on a previous podcast, is a COMT inhibitor. So inhibits the enzyme that breaks down dopamine and all of those other related neurotransmitters and hormones. We've also got 600 milligrams of alpha zone alpha GPC, so that's going to give you 300 milligrams of actual alpha GPC, 2 grams of tyrosine, 50 milligrams of Conaese, 200 milligrams of rhodiola. And then for fat burning, we've got a gram of Alcar, 1.5 of LCLT, 40 milligrams of grains of paradise, and 50 milligrams each of ProGBB and Capsumax. It's going to be an expensive formula, but I mean, I would say this almost verges on like a nootropic, except for the caffeine is so fucking high.
Yeah, it's you got 600 milligrams of alpha GPC and 2 grams of tyrosine, with 50 milligrams of canna and rhodiola. I mean, that's a pretty good nootropic right there.
Yeah, and the gram of Alcar too will go nicely with the alpha GPC. Yeah.
Hopefully they're not. Sorry, I'm DMing with them right now because they sent me. They made a comment about my comment, and I don't really like that. To be honest with you, I don't like when brands. I would say I don't. How do I say this in the right way? Like brands will want me to say certain things about their products, and I'm like, well, if I wanted to say that, I would say that.
Right.
So, anyway, I don't like these hype brands either, where it's like we just think we make the greatest shit in the world. It's like this is a really cool formula, but man, I've seen this shit. Like, so what do you want from me? You want me to tell you it's something?
Yeah. Yeah, they want you to cover their product, but they only want it to be positive press. Interesting. Yeah, I've never interacted with them, but interesting. Have you ever tried any of the Train by JP supplements? The Jordan Peters, bodybuilder out of the UK.
No, I didn't. But I did talk about this product on here too. Wow, these guys are annoying the shit out of me.
The Naughty Boy people?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Anyway, fucking UK people, I tell you sometimes. They drive me nuts. I love my UK people though.
They're probably still butthurt we kicked their ass a couple hundred years ago. That's all.
We had to bail you out of 2 world wars. So that are you asking about the Train by JP, like the strongest pre-workout on the market, or like one of the strongest pre-workouts on the market?
That's its latest one. And is this the profile of what it is?
So someone asked me that. They said it looks really good, and I was like, well, here I said this is not a criticism of this formula. I said, but I have 2 things that sort of stick out with it. Well, you have the Juniper, okay?
Yeah.
So first things first, when they talk about, this is going to be one of the strongest, it's like we've seen this formula before. There's a handful of ingredients, big dosages, certain things, nothing's bad. But so you have Cagalia, So you're either it's not you don't have 200 milligrams of DMHA, and even in the stacked article it says 200 milligrams of Kigalia DMHA. That's just not true. Like,
Yeah.
we have no idea how much DMHA, if any, is in Kigalia, right?
Correct.
So you're either putting this on here as a way to circumvent that, or you're just really using DMHA and calling it something else.
Right.
And it's like, so either way, and I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent, it's just that's what it is. So it's like, I don't really know why we needed this product or why we needed, yet another one of these things, but
Yeah.
it seems like it's pretty cheap. So I guess if you want, I don't know how it'll play out. I don't know how Kigalia will play out. I mentioned this on my stories too when I was talking about it. I said this when we use Juglans and we use Sausage Tree and we use Biophytum and stuff, I was like, I have yet to really use anything, especially recently, like this that feels like DMHA to me. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and the formula. I mean, if you go back and look at one of the first couple of versions of Total War, the formula looks a lot like that. I mean, they had citrulline malate, beta-alanine around the same doses, caffeine, juniper berry, DMHA, and I think synephrine or octopamine was in the very first formula of that too. I mean, I don't see how this could even come close to qualifying for one of the hardest hitting stim pre-workouts, especially if you stack it up against something like Assassin. Assassin's going to mop the floor with this thing. So I don't get this. It's really cheap. It's $1 a serving. This is no, not impressed. Not impressed at all. Bang's got a special limited edition flavor coming out. I'm sure you're excited about that.
Yeah.
Inspired has a new Ember formula coming out. I did not see this when I was glancing through the other day. So each single serving of Ember will contain 300 milligrams of KSM-66, 1.5 grams of carnitine, 250 of dandelion, which is going to have a diuretic kind of effect, 50 milligrams of cocoa-butyrol, 20 milligrams of grains of paradise. We've also got 200 of caffeine, 125 of dynamine, 100 of Advantra-Z, 30 of theobromine, and 25 of Cana-Ease.
Where are we at here? What are you talking
about? It's page, I don't know, 3 of stack. It's the next page over after the Jordan Peters thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Chris's new formula from Inspired looks pretty solid.
Yeah, because I know it's like kind of goes down the same road as his worldwide stim formula. He's like, the days of fucking killing people, with some crazy nuts stims products. He's like, he's like, I can't do it anymore. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. He's like, maybe a limited release kind of thing. He's like, but I want to make something that, people can take, no matter what, or athletes and stuff like that. So he's like, we had to sort of tone down what we were doing a little bit. And then I think he was saying, right, they're really big, like in Australia, I think. Mm-hmm. And so they have some weird, especially with, all the crazy shit that was going on over there, where they were like trying to shut the whole like industry down, like basically. So it's like, so you're just gonna see, right, a more compliant, less aggressive, because he made some aggressive shit.
Oh yeah, I mean the original Devastate White Cut, that's still one of the most intense pre-workout stim blends I've ever tried.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the most ones. I think most people say that too. And even I tell you what, the last Ember, dude, that thing absolutely kicked my ass.
Really? See, I had never tried it.
It was too strong. It was honestly too strong. Like I wouldn't even use 2 scoops of it. Like 2 scoops was the full serving of it, but it was so, man. I mean, that stuff would light you up, and I mean, I can handle most anything.
Yeah.
But it was just, those Johanbein laden, just aggressive, like thermogenics that you're just like, I am just so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like that's how that one was. It was just so strong, man. Oh, so strong. So we'll see how this one comes out. I'm sure it'll be good.
We previewed this a couple weeks back, and we'll get you out of here on this, Justin, because I know you've got another meeting coming up rather soon. We finally got the full details on Core Nutritionals PRO, their protein powder.
I'm excited for that one.
It's got several flavors. So we've got cookies and cream, frosted vanilla cupcake, chocolate peanut butter cup. There's also Death by Chocolate, yes please, fruity cereal, and cinnamon French toast. For the protein, they're doing a transparently labeled protein blend. So they've got 25 grams of protein, 2 to 3 grams of fat depending on the serving, 1.5 to 3 grams of carbs depending on the flavor. Let's see, protein sources for the Core Pro are 12.5 grams of the 25 grams per scoop from whey concentrate and 6.25 each. So another 12.5 grams total of whey isolate and milk isolate combined. So 6.25 grams of each of those. So yeah, I expect this to taste rather thick, creamy, and delicious.
Mm-hmm. They got some good flavors too. Also, so they have the Core Fury, and I've used the Intra.
Mm-hmm.
So they've the flavors of them have been great, and so everything that they're doing right now seems like flavor is a huge part of what they're doing. Actually, I know where they manufacture, and the other brands that I know that use that same place, flavorings, they kill it. So makes sense.
Excellent.
I really want to get my hands on some of this protein for sure.
Yeah. And I reached out to Kenton over there I want to say 2 weeks ago now to get him on the podcast, and he said he was up for doing it. And then, the world went to shit. So I need to reach out since he's probably got more time on his hands now and see if I can get him and or Doug on the show at the same time. And we can do that.
Both would be good. I think Kenton especially, Kenton's hilarious, man. That guy's awesome. They both are. I like them both. But Kenton's sense of humor is not for everyone probably, but I get it. So, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good deal, man. Well, then I'll let you get rolling. You and the missus have a fantastic weekend. Be safe, and we'll do this again next week.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for the time today. I know shit's crazy, so thanks for accommodating my schedule.
As always, man. Happy to oblige.
All right, buddy.
All right. Bye.